Hello and welcome to another special presentation of Shalom Media. My name is David McGovern and I have the privilege today of hosting a special conversation with a visiting Iraqi Catholic priest, Father Douglas Yusuf Bazi. His story is a fascinating one. He is a priest that has experienced immense suffering and the suffering of the Iraqi Catholics and Iraqi Christians in Iraq. So stick around and I look forward to sharing his story with you now. Father Douglas Yusuf Al-Bazi, welcome to Brisbane, Australia.
Thank you very much.
It's wonderful to have you here.
I'm glad.
Tell us a little bit about your background in Iraq and the situation for Catholics in Iraq or Christians in Iraq at the moment.
I went to seminary in 1989 and ordinated in 1998 in Baghdad. The background of Christian Iraq, actually, is go back to the first century of Christianity. So many people, when they say, "Are you converted just a couple years ago?" I say maybe around 2,000 years. So we are traditional church, belong to one of the disciples, St. Thomas, and St. Thomas to St. Adday, and we are Christian from the first century till now.
How has the situation changed for Christians in Iraq today?
I think the same situation actually was from the first century till now, because one of the official names of my church is the church they called Eastern Church, and at the same time they called my church the Church of Martyr or the Church of Blood. And you've looked to our Archbishop, and actually it's Patriarch, and his costume actually is not like Pope. It's not white. It's completely red. Why? Because red, it's mean ready to testimony, ready to be killed, to be martyr for Christ. So it's just actually, to us, is just what is the difference? It's the date, that's mean the time, but the same victims, and we are under the same persecution, the same genocide. So in the moment, actually, we are still under the systematic genocide, systematic persecution.
Tell us a bit about your own story. You mentioned the shedding of the blood. Now, you've shed blood. How did that occur for you, and what's actually happened for you?
You know, first, when I actually sharing with my story, I'm always telling people, don't just look to my story, look to the people behind my story, because really we have a wonderful people. They went, you know, that history went back to the 2,000 years of that testimony, of that showing the faith. I can consider myself, I'm a lucky guy, I'm still alive. Even I survived twice. They were near bomb to my car. That's mean my car being destroyed twice.
So your car has been bombed twice?
Yes, I'm just in the wrong place and wrong time. And one time they blew up my church in front of me. It was a bomb there, and I was a couple meters away, and so I had that experience when someone fly in air by the bomb. I got shot by AK-47, a Kalashnikov, and they got the bullet in my left leg, and still the bullet there. And the end of November 2006, I'm being kidnapped for 9 days. They blocked the highway. There were 2 cars waiting there. And when I arrived, they stopped the highway and they took me from my car. They put me in the boot of my car, and they took me nowhere. So the only thing I heard from outside, they say, "Don't open your eyes. If you are going to open your eyes, we'll put bullet between your eyes. Take this and cover your eyes." So when I went out from the car, suddenly I found myself on the ground, because one of them, he hit me by his knee in my face. So immediately, you know, I fell down. When I wake, I found myself full of blood, and I was just hearing these words, you know, like, "We got him. This is the infidel."
So you were targeted? Like you believe you were targeted?
This is what I heard, because after that, those people, and they told me, "We don't have no idea why we are telling you this, but actually this is not personal with you, but we have a list and your name is in that list."
Wow.
And they told me, "Look, we don't know why, but actually, I don't know why we start loving you, but your name in that list." So I spent really tough 9 days, starting with broke my nose, without water first 4 days. And the day 6, when they start negotiated, that they actually with the priest, and he told them, look, that's mean we don't believe you are going to release him. Me actually, 10 now, I know how they release me, and because I thought they are going to finish me, because every day, during the day, I was like spiritual father to them, but during the night I became again infidel. They follow, they come to ask me for forgiveness. The day 6 actually, that was a really hard day, tough day, because they use the hammer and they start hitting me by hammer. So they hit my shoulder. The next one was in my face. So just I realized that there is a lot of blood in my teeth, in my mouth. So I found one of my teeth inside, and blood. When one of them is saying, yeah, don't be worried. You have a lot of teeth, and we have all the night. And they say, remember the first day when you say you don't care, you say that you spend a time in military, time in the seminary, and you are a priest, and you say, guys, to me, to be among you is like a picnic. So I will show you what's mean a picnic. And I told him, I don't think so. You are really a man. If you are a man, you just put the bullet in my head, but you can't. And they hit me again and again. So that night they hit me in my back, and they broke 2 discs in my back.
This is all with a hammer.
Yeah. So they released me after 9 days.
And how old were you when all this particular experience happened?
I think around 30, 32, 30, yeah.
32. Did you ever lose hope? Did you ever lose faith in those moments when the hammers were raining down upon you?
I'm always telling myself, not just me, but all the priests in Baghdad, we're always actually preparing our last will. I keep my last will with another priest keep his last will with me. So when we go outside, we don't know if we have chance to go back again. We have a prayer in our liturgy, the Chaldean liturgy, when the priest leaves the altar, always saying, forward altar of God, the tomb of Jesus Christ. I have no idea. I don't know if I'm going back to celebrate or no. So it's not about faith. It's always about, I'm ready. Did I do my part excitedly, completely did my part in my life? Because we know at any time we can get shot or get killed or kidnapped. So I'm not surprised. Believe me, what surprised me, I'm still alive.
Religion is all about peace and love and mercy and grace and forgiveness. But yet it's in the name of religion that atrocities like what you've experienced and what Iraq is experiencing take place. Can you say a little bit about how you maybe reconcile that conflict?
It's easy to talk about forgiveness, but to show the lesson of forgiving, I think this is the hard part. So all of us, we are talking about, as you mentioned, about peace and love, but when actually it's the time when someone hurt you, you will say, yeah, I have to, it's like to pay back or revenge. And so wait a minute. There is something important here is the grace of God. But what's mean grace of God? That's actually growing day by day. But that grace actually need what? When we forgive, we are actually giving chance to grace of God to transfer from generation to another generation. So grace of God does not mean it just come by yourself. But for example, if I give that forgiveness from generation to you, this is what happened in the Old Testament. When God, he was looking for even one person good, he cannot destroy all that. So by one, actually, we can be saved. So that grace, if not going to forgive, how the grace that can transfer to another generation? So my role, I have to just give open the window to that grace to go through me.
It would be easier for Christians to perhaps shut up, to not speak about their faith. But why do Christians in Iraq continue to share their faith, to evangelize? What is driving them?
I believe from the first century, our church actually started to proclaim and spread the word of God. Since the first century, even the church of, let's say, the church of West, that time they were under persecution of Roman, but our church, they were a little bit free. So they start proclaim all east side till to India. When persecution start with the Persian Empire, with Ottoman, where Arab, when Muslim, when they arrive, again with Ottoman, again with the governments in Iraq, still we are keeping actually our role much we can. So there are two ways. You can just talk about Jesus, but you can actually do the gospel by your example. So if you look to our people before, they will never attend theology institute or the theology college, never. But you can see the holy gospel in their life. How? They are accepting each other. They are always try, special because as a Christian, we are always try to keep the balance in country. So actually it is not, if we call how the people in Iraq, they were put in that effect like a salt. We are a little bit, but actually we give that good taste for all Iraq.
The leavening.
Yeah. So with that, a little bit, but I think the role or effect of people, especially with the Christian, when they lose that effect, I think that time, as a mission in the gospel, useless, you are going to be useless. They will take you and throw it in the street. This is actually our role. Much we can, we were and are to find that effect, that influence in our society.
I want to come back to a word that you used before, and I commented on it being a very perhaps provocative word, a very powerful word, and that was the word genocide. And you are on record as saying that Christians in Iraq are the subject of a genocide. Is it a deliberate choice of words to use? Is it a very deliberate strategy on your part to use that word? And are you exaggerating, or is genocide actually what's happening?
Actually, I remember 2 years ago I went to the European Parliament, and they told me it's not allowed. If you are going to address the European Parliament, you are not allowed to use the word persecution. And I told them, what happened actually to my people, genocide is a polite word. Because what's mean to say genocide? Because if you are look to the genocide and look what happened to my people actually, I don't know, I'm trying to find another word explaining how come that you are killing the same people and they are the same victim for centuries and nobody hear about them. How come those people, they were million and now they are less 200,000? How come now you are just killing them, kidnap our kids, and they want to actually to make us disappear from country. So what does that mean? So I love when Pope Francis actually starts also saying that genocide, and was actually in Congress in the United States when they vote for that and they call it genocide. Was inside the building, but still it's a word. What should happen? What should done after that was actually it's work, but till now nothing.
You've said that Christians in Iraq will never blame God for what is happening to them. Can you say a little bit more about that and why that is the case?
For example, in 2014, when they forced 125,000 people from Mosul. When people arrived, they were completely destroyed. They arrived with nothing, lost everything. They were shocked, confused, lost. But no one actually with them blames God. Why? Because we look to the old history. And this is the different. For us, we think in different way. How? For us, actually, the past, we are always taking the past and put it in front of us. And because we don't know what is the future, we always take the future and put it in behind. So what is the past? The past is always God there for saving us. Always we are trusting that God is going also to saving us. How He saved the Hebrews in the Jewish in Egypt is going to be with us. How He saved all our church for 2,000 years, He's going also to be with us again and over. So this is the difference. Always the past is in front of us. Because we don't know the future, we just put it behind us. So, not because we are good people, but actually the Almighty God is a good with us. So no one of my people blame God. You always say, thanks God, because we are still alive, because you save us. And no one blame, and no one can blame.
Father Douglas, that you have shared in previous forums, it relates to the idea that Christianity for us, the Iraqi people, or Iraqi Christians, is not a supermarket where you can pick what you want. It is love it or leave it. What lesson can we learn from the Catholics of Iraq?
First I want to tell that, imagine 18,000 people, 18,000 families. That means we are talking about over 125,000 people. When those people fled from Mosul, came to the north of Iraq, especially in Erbil and Duhok, who actually was there for help them? Church. We opened all our churches. The people, they were everywhere. And did we receive any help from international community, from Iraqi government, for example? Zero. We received nothing. We are still survival by the help, support of the Catholic Church. They were short some organization, we know them personal, and they help, and we appreciate that. But you talk about that help, we are not talking about one family, we are talking about 18,000 families. Until now, we actually covered everything for those, people. That's come by that help. But for Iraqi people, when we say that this is one package, because a lot of people, they say, why is that? Why always happening to that? We can just, deny it and live in peace and like that. Yeah, okay? But you know what? You can live, anyone can live. But it's a huge difference between live with dignity or live for nothing. To us, when we say that we are really alive, we are not stupid. We are not crazy looking for to be dead or martyrs. But we are proud of our faith. We are not fighting other. No, we are not actually bomb ourselves to push others to believe. No. We are just try to be peace people and live peacefully with the others. So this is one package. My people, it is not about just carrying the cross. Anyone can carry the cross, but it's about the follow Jesus. So we decide to follow Jesus to the end. So this is the package. And Christianity is not mean just to be, like liturgy or just happy for some occasion, exchanging some card for Christmas. Christianity is mean I'm ready to death to put my life for Jesus. Should I complain or stand, front God to say, God, why I have to do that? And I think God is going to look to His Son and He say, look to my Son. What did He deserve? For what? I sent my lovely Son. And this is what happened. I know that we are Christian, not just for good days, but also for bad days. But my people now, actually, they are through the Good Friday. I hope that my people can reach to that Sunday of resurrection.
I'm sure in your story, in your journeys, you are going to have plenty of opportunity to share your story, but I suspect there's probably also, as a priest, you probably come carrying on your heart and in your mind the stories of other Christian Iraqis that you know and have loved and perhaps have lost. Is there a particular story, a particular person you think would resonate with some of our viewers?
Yeah, among 125,000 people, that's mean we are talking about, if each one has two stories, that means 500,000. let's say, two stories there, in my mind every time. Last July, I went to Iraq, and actually I went to Mosul. After 1 week when our Iraqi army, they liberated Mosul, I went there. I went to the same mosque where the ISIS start, the Islamic State.
And Mosul is a country, a city in Iraq that the Western world has heard a lot about at different times.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I went to the old city, they call it, Old Town. I went there, and I met with a little girl. Her name is Christine.
Christine.
So Christine, actually, she kidnapped for 3 years. She was with the ISIS, Islamic State.
Yeah.
When she back, and now she's in 6 years. So I met Christine, of course. But Christine, she completely forget their language, the Aramaic. Now she just speak English, Arabic. I talked with her mom. But you can see that her mom, actually, before 3 years, she was looked like a young woman, After 3 years, losing her little daughter, you look to her now, she's like, I don't know, over 100 years. But I know this lady, even when I would talk with her, she was always touching her daughter. She's not believe she's there,
She's got her back.
Yeah, she's here,
The prodigal daughter has returned, although she didn't have any choice, I guess, did she? So that's Christine. Is there another? You said two stories. Is there another story?
There were two neighbors. One is Muslim, another is Christian. So when Bakr al-Baghdadi and the others, when they took over all Mosul, the Islamic State members, so they told them, the Christian, they have to, if they want to stay in city, there are three conditions. That one, by Sharia, convert to Islam, or pay taxes, or leave, or you'll be killed. So the Muslim guy went to the Christian, he knocked the door, and he told him, did you hear about the declaration comes yesterday from Bakr al-Baghdadi? He say, no, I'm sorry. He say, no. He say, you have to leave to the city, because if you are not going to leave, I'm going to take your home and kill your family. Because I'm your neighbor, I have right to take your own things, because now they belong to me. So this guy actually prepared himself it was forbidden to take anything, even the wedding ring, they took it. So he took all the family and they prepared to leave. And before the leaving, he went to the Muslim guy and he knocked the door. So the Muslim guy looked at him. What are you doing here? And I say, look, my neighbor. Look, we've been neighbor over 30 years. So I told myself, it's a shame to leave without saying goodbye to my neighbor. Yeah. So the Muslim guy started to cry and he say, look, I swear by God's name, no one's going to touch your family. You are in my protection. You are I will protect you. I say, look, the trust just fall down. This is the key of my house. I'm leaving. So we are not surprised because some enemies come from outside attacking us. But when your neighbor
turns on neighbor,
turns against you, I think this is the end. We can rebuild cities, but we cannot rebuild the trust.
Yeah, very powerful. In another of your speeches, Father Douglas, you said, we lost our land, Jesus is our land, lost our houses, Jesus is our house. We lost everything and Jesus is all we have. Living in a country where we don't experience such a thing, it's hard for someone like myself or for our viewers to grasp this. What do you have to tell us about this statement? And is it meant to shake us out of our comfy beds and rattle us a little bit, leave us a bit disturbed? Is that part of why you say something like that?
When people start actually leaving Iraq, especially the Christian, there were a lot of, let's say, gasp or criticize why people they are leaving, why? Because the media actually, they would never talk about persecution there. So they thought that people, they are living there in peaceful. So when people start leaving, they say, how come you are leaving your country, you know? And I'm always telling people, wait a minute, why you are actually put our faith with land? Because when Jesus came, actually, Jesus became our land. When I believe in God, believe in Jesus, whatever land I have, but I believe in one God, not in land. If you look to the Jesus himself, he said that Son of Man has no place to lay his head. And even Jesus himself, when he was a baby, actually, when it was persecution against him, Saint Joseph and Mary, they took him and they went and they escaped to Egypt. Pope Francis, he said to all parishes actually in Europe, open your doors to those refugees, welcome them. So why we are a little bit, we have to be fair with that. Where is my land? My land where I found love and justice. So this is the promising land. That's why one of the things I call, when you find in any country, when people like to stay in Australia and New Zealand or any place, when they found love and justice, so this is my home. This is my land.
The land is not about a place, it's about where you've experienced a sense of God and a sense of your faith, where your faith comes alive for you.
If I am happy in Darfur, this is my land. If I am happy in Gaza, this is my land.
Thank you so much for your time with Shalom Media, and I wish you all the best for your journey and in your ministry together. God bless.
God bless. Thank you very much.
Shalom World Television is coming to Australia. This is a great gift. It's been gifted to many parts of the world, and now it's our Australian turn to receive it with open arms. I welcome it, I bless it. It's going to really support family life, married life, youth, give us a resource that we know that we need really great help in these areas. May Almighty God bless this new resource coming to our land in the name of the Father, the Son and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Shalom World, God's own channel.